YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I'm reviewing for you the Ralph Fiennes directed film The White Crow. It was filmed in 2018 and it was released in the UK in 2019 on the 22nd of March. The film is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. It tells the story of the most famous ballet dancer, Rudolf Nureyev. He comes from the Soviet Union, but he's not actually Russian. He is Balashkishtarin family. That's the ethnic group that he is from. As we know, Russia is massive and includes many different ethnic groups. Not everybody who lives in Russia today or at this particular time was ethnically Russian. Rudolf Nureyev was not. This film deals with one main sort of incident in his life. Was when he first went to the West. He went to Paris as a ballet dancer, sort of the prima donna of ballet dancers, but he was a bloke. He even says they've taken from the woman in his style of ballet dancing. He then is able to leave the Soviet Union at the airport and he defects to the West. That is what, in 1963, that is what this film's main story is. It then has flashbacks of the White Crow, which is Rudolf Nureyev's nickname as a child, of his childhood and how he was supported by his mother primarily. He was also born on a train whilst his father was fighting for the Russian army during the Second World War. Rudolf Nureyev is famous for blending classical Russian ballet with Western dance and his developments, but that's all before this film. Ralph Fiennes has read the book that this film is based on, and he doesn't shy away from the fact that Rudolf Nureyev can be a very selfish man and has a very, very, very short temper. He flips out in the toy shop. As a child, he always wanted a toy train because in the flashback you see him in this very, very poor house and he's got a wooden train. As an adult, when he's in Paris, he goes shopping and he flips out the shop assistant for showing him all of these trains, and he wants a very specific train to take home. He then plays with it in his room with his fellow ballet dancers. There's questions over Rudolf Nureyev's sexuality. Is he bisexual? Is he gay? Not going to answer that one because that sort of becomes clear in the film. He is helped by Claire Saint, whose fiance was the son of somebody very powerful within France at the time. He unfortunately tragically died in a car crash, and Claire enables Rudolf Nureyev in this film version to defect to the West. That's what the whole film is building up to. You also really want to find out how on earth did he get inspired to be a ballet dancer, because it doesn't really make very much sense. It's kind of like a mystery and a really slow pace. I didn't know anything about this at all. It was great to actually sit there and watch the mystery unfold of like, who is this guy, because he's got a really short temper. His personality is not pleasant, but when he dances, oh my goodness, it's brilliant. At the end of this film there are scenes of the real Rudolf Nureyev dancing and it is absolutely spectacular. It is in black and white, but it is spectacular. He moves like a ballerina, but he's a man, and that's a huge part of what he goes on to do in ballet. He also takes Western dancing and fuses it with ballet. It's phenomenal. He's got a whole website and a foundation, and it's a whole movement and it's a whole thing, and in ballet it's really big. But obviously if you're not into ballet and opera, you aren't going to know diddly squat about this. His mother won the lottery when he was very small, and she had one ticket to the opera. She smuggles in her 3 daughters and her only son, who is age 6 at the time. He is absolutely in awe of the chandelier and of the dancers, and that's when he gets the dancing bug. We don't really see a lot of his father because he's absent at his birth. He eventually sort of turns up when his son is 6 and expects him to hug him. But he doesn't know him. The daughters are really cut up about this because they're older, they're like 10, 13, 12 type age, and they're really cut up about not being allowed to hug their dad. Anyway, that's just one scene. The scenes are beautiful. They are like an onion, a very, very slow cooked onion that is being slowly revealed to you, this character of this man that is quite taciturn and not quite pleasant, but he's a perfectionist. He flips out. He was known for being difficult to work with, and this film doesn't shy away from it. You see a lot of feet because it's ballet and it's dance, but these are proper ballet moves. It's not like some flimsy flam dancey stuff. It is discipline. It is Soviet Union. We are going to learn all this technique, and once you've perfected the technique, you can then tell a story with your body, which is what he goes on to do in ballet. Rudolph Nureyev plays princes, kings, Romeo and Juliet, all these famous ballet dances and ballets that he does. He also goes on to rearrange them and becomes a conductor, but that's not what this film is about. This film is about him being a young man exploring the West and being in awe of it. He at one point defies his handlers and hangs out with the Western ballet dancers, and they take him to a church and he says that he wants to live there. He loves fine art. He's absolutely in awe of paintings. He waits, he gets up really early and he goes to the art gallery so that he can be the first person to see the great masters, and he just sort of bathes in them with his eyes. It is phenomenal what he is actually just soaking up culture and art like a sponge. And it's lovely to see that portrayed on film. It's a great film. It is slow. If you don't want to work, it does require you to use your brain to work with it, because otherwise he just comes off as like this prick and you're just like, what? I don't get it. Why? He's from a very, very poor family, and what happens is he wants to, when he's learning to dance, he's sort of 3 or 4 years behind everybody else. And he isn't getting on with his dance tutor, so he flips out. They then give him another one. The dance tutor is portrayed by Ralph Fiennes. That dance tutor actually has him in his house as a house guest, and he has a questionable relationship with that dance tutor's wife. Whether he knows and looks the other way, we're not quite sure, or whether he's treating Rudolph like a son, like a child. We don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of mystery going on with this. Rudolf Nureyev is able to go back to Russia to see his dying mother and to go back to the ballet dance companies that he used to work with to see people, but he was only allowed once to do that. But that was after his defection. This whole film is building up to one moment in his life, and that is the moment that will either make or break his character, because everybody else in his Russian dance company has been going on the official tours, not been hanging out with Western people, not been going to parties, not going out at all hours, and this was a no-no. They had KGB handlers. It seems totally mad looking back now, but it just shows you this was life in the USSR. And because Rudolf Nureyev was going out with Western dancers, and he was staying out to clubs, questionable clubs, where black people and gay people were, all the horrors, quite shocking. For this time period, everything is set in the time period, so there were very traditional views coming from the Russian KGB people saying, no, you've got to go on the main trip. We're going to take everybody is going to see the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower. You're going to come with us on our coach trip. We're doing that. That's what we're going to be doing on Saturday. You will be there. And yes, he did do those, but he also had lots of other adventures, which kind of take away from the fact that he's a full-time ballet dancer, and to dance ballet, well, you have to work and your body is exhausted afterwards. I would like to point that out. Rudolf Nureyev also has issues with his ankle. Yes, another person that has ankle issues, I can so relate. But he pushed past it to perfect his art, and after being told that he would give up, but that's not really covered in the film. It is briefly, because he goes back to stay with his dancing teacher and his wife, and they look after him. I really enjoyed the movie. It is a slow burn. It's like a boiled onion that unravels and is a bit stinky, because Rudolf Nureyev really does have his personality. It's like, boom. Angel Sinclair says, yes, he is a very selfish man. But she helps him, and then he doesn't call her back. And then like somebody says to her at the end of the movie, are you expecting him to call? And she's like, no. And he never does. So we assume that he never does. What really happened, we will never know. It's a great film. It's a slow burner, as I've said. Out of 5, I'd give it a 5 if you're into ballet. If you're not, you're probably not going to like it and it's going to be a 3. It really does depend on whether you like supposed high culture and art and ballet and sculpture and opera and chandeliers and understanding the political side of it, which is quite interesting actually. And how should a government control its artists, and should art be controlled, and why can't Russian ballet with its discipline be fused with Western storytelling and all sorts of things. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 5 out of 5. If you're really into ballet, it will top your tree. If not, I would just leave it. Like, comment and subscribe. If you're into politics, watch it as well because the political side is good. Like, comment and subscribe, and thanks for the support. Bye!